Welcome back to the world of surprise mystery art boxes. Who knows what will be in store? Sit down, buckle up, prepare to get creative because you've entered the Twilight Zone. An art adventure. I can't remember the last time I actually said what Paletteful Packs is, so in case you have no idea, Paletteful Packs is an art subscription company. Every month you give them money, they give you art supplies. I'm not sponsored, I pay for it with my own money. They give you three options. Premier Pack, that's what this is, Petite Pack, which is cheaper, and then a Young Artist Pack for children. I've never seen anyone unbox the Young Artist Pack, so that would be really cool. And so if you have ever gotten it, let me know in the comments below. And if you are new, feel free to subscribe and then you can go on many future art adventures with me. Okay, I want to see what these art supplies are. I'm super excited. I'm going to go one by one. We have, a pencil sharpener. A 2-hole sharpener that takes up the casings or collects the shavings. I don't know what I was trying to say there. And then we have, so I'm guessing some pencils, right? A polycolor. I wonder if they've listened to my advice. I've been for months saying it'd be really cool to get some unusual pencils that are from international brands that you can't easily get in the US. And I really wanted to try the Kohinoor colored pencils. This one is a blender, so I'm assuming that there is more to come. I'm hoping that there is more pencils to come. I'm so excited. And the other thing I love about Paletteful Packs is they always give you a surface to work on. We've got some pigment liners from Art Alternatives, 0.1, 0.3, and 0.5. We have, I feel a big pack. I'm so excited. I wanted these ages ago and I resisted buying them. The Kohinoor Tritone 11 pencils with multicolor lens. They're just really fun to play with. I don't care if you're a big kid like me or an actual kid. Pencils are just fun, and if they're multicolored pencils, it's even more fun. I've seen some YouTubers review them, so I'm really looking forward to them. Like Teo Yichi, he's from Singapore, does really cool urban sketching and all sorts of other stuff. Our menu, I think, red. I don't think we've ever gotten red, but I don't want any spoilers. Put that aside. And then, is it the surface left? I think that might be it. Oops. Let's get this box open. It's Strathmore Bristol paper vellum surface. That'll be interesting for pencils. Usually you want some sort of tooth, so slightly textured for pencil work, not really Bristol usually. But I do know that people use pencils with Bristol. Throwing the box aside, I've made such a mess this month. Wow. Okay, let's have a look at this paper. We've got 15 sheets, vellum surface. It opens like a book. I've never seen it open like this before. That's super cool. Well, there is a slight texture to it, but it is yet smooth. I've never tried paper like this. It's one of my reasons why Paletteful Packs is my favorite art subscription box, that you always get a cool surface. And maybe if you've lived in the US forever, you know all of the different Strathmore papers and they're really well known to you. But for me, since I've only lived in the US for a couple of years, it's all exciting and new, and I'm really keen to get into something here. So let's go on an art adventure. This month I begin our project with the surface. Our paper is from Strathmore. It's the 400 series Bristol paper, 9x12 inch paper pad with the vellum surface. At first I thought it was like the Bristol paper that you use with markers, that's super smooth, which is actually called smooth Bristol paper. But vellum has a slight texture to it, which makes it actually quite lovely to work with pencils. And you can see I'm starting off with just a HB pencil. It's a Ticonderoga limited edition pencil that I received in an Art Snacks box, and it was really lovely to sketch with on here. We didn't receive any sort of sketching pencil. I know we received lots of them in our last box, so I'm pretty sure that's probably why Paletteful Packs didn't bother to include one this time. If it's going to be a whole project in a box, maybe you would need some sort of sketching pencil. Obviously you could sketch with the color pencils themselves, just color pencils don't erase as well as a graphite pencil does. Anyway, you can see that I'm drawing a couple of roses and then removing most of the graphite with a kneaded eraser. And then it's on to the main event. These are the Kohinoor Tritone multicolor pencils. We got an 11-pack with one blender, and the card says that it retails for $27.95. I was curious about that price, and like many art subscription boxes, I find that the prices are overpriced, and I actually found that the 24 set of these Kohinoor pencils for slightly less than that. So the 12, I think, were on special for about half that price on Amazon, but maybe you could find them around $20, I think, online, but $28 seemed a bit much. I'm swatching out the summer sky for you here in real time, so you can see how slowly I work with color pencils and how slowly I guess many artists that work commonly with color pencils will work. So usually color pencils are done in kind of small circular motions and building up many layers and taking some time. I'm probably working about twice as fast as I normally would if it was a really important piece to me. And it's still taken me quite a while to get that layering down. And you can see I've layered from very light to quite intense color. And then once I've got a feel for the pencils, I start using them. And I'm starting off with the summer sky, but you can see that I very quickly start switching in between different pencils. I also erase my graphite lines, the faint lines that are left, as I'm going along. And so each petal or each area of the drawing will be erased as I'm going, so that hopefully in the end you only see the color pencil work and you don't see the graphite or line work. But actually, it's maybe a bit of a pointless endeavor because I end up going back at the end and lining them with ink pens that we received in this box. Anyway, so you can see all the other pencils. I'm just swatching them all out in turn, showing them in close-up so you can see that tritone color pencil lead. Apparently, it's created by braiding the three different pencils together, and that way you get actually 3 separate pencils in one. Some of the pencils are quite close to each other in the tones, and others are quite diverse. So some of them you barely even notice, like with that summer sky, that there's 3 different colors. And then others, the evening storm, really has a dramatic shift from gray to pale blue to red, or a deep red. And so I found that quite interesting. At least 4 of the colors, ocean, summer sky, and forest and meadow, were almost identical, and I would have much rather had a couple of different tones or pencils rather than those. Some nice pink would have been great to see, and some deep colors, like a really deep purple, or a deep dark red, or a deep dark brown, something along those lines would have been good. I actually found that the pencils were fairly similar in their tone, and it made it quite difficult to get an interesting range of colors from light to dark. And so I actually struggled with that quite a bit in this piece. And in the end, I have to try to use some pretty dramatic color shifts, as well as the liner pens or the inking pens, to try to get some of that contrast showing, as well as, obviously, many layers. So I start off going through with light layers to just place in the colors where I think I will like them. And you can see a surprising array of colors that I'm using. It's because I'm trying to draw or color in a rainbow rose. I don't know if you've ever seen a rainbow rose before, but they're really lovely. They're actually dyed, those different rainbow colors. They don't exist in nature, but they are really pretty. And I've had one given to me before. I really like them. And I just wasn't really sure what to do with this set of pencils that would show them off well. And after looking through the prompts and struggling a little bit, I decided to pretty loosely interpret the prompts this month, which, by the way, were week 1 last, week 2 old, week 3 cozy, week 4 coffee. And so for me, I guess I'm kind of going with the week 2 old, with some old memories from Japan. Obviously, I talk about Japan a lot because I lived there for 8 years, and I also really love how even through the bustling metropolis that is Tokyo, there's all these little gardens outside almost every little apartment or building that often these old little ladies will take care of, these little obachan, which means old ladies, and they just will take the smallest space and turn it into a beautiful little garden. And I also found, where I lived anyway in Tokyo, but I think that's pretty common around the whole city, that if you visit a flower store, that they're often run by older people, especially if it's not on a main shopping district. If it's just on a little side street or in a local street, you'll often find that the flower store or the hanaya is run by a little old couple or a little old lady. And I love their florists. They will be these tiny little stores often in the local area where you go in and you just pick 1 or 2 flowers if you want, or as many as you like, but all the flowers are sold separately. And you get to pick exactly the flower that you want or the flowers that you want. And so you can see that I've just shown you the liners, and I'm going in mostly with the 0.5. I found it difficult though to go over the color pencils in parts because they did get a quite waxy build up to them by the time I put on a few layers. I also used a blending solution or a solvent, the one by Holbein, to try to smooth out the pencils. I found that they were a bit tricky to work with. But all in all, they were an interesting pencil. I would rate them as, I guess, a student grade or upper student grade. Not the best, not the worst, an interesting pencil that maybe I will take out sketching or do quick studies with. And just fun to try out. Overall, I really enjoyed this box. I'm really glad that Paletteful Packs has put in some pencils for the first time since I've been collecting the box anyway, some color pencils I mean. And so I hope that you've enjoyed watching this little art adventure. I didn't finish the whole piece because color pencils are a bit slow, so look forward to that in an upcoming video. And of course, if you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and that notification bell. Leave me a comment down below to let me know what you thought of the box this month and what your favorite flower is. I really am always curious what people like when it comes to flowers. And I'll see you guys soon for another art adventure. Take care, everyone.